Konnichiwa. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, July 19th. We are a couple days from the full moon in Aquarius, which is on Saturday. Although it really is entering here on the 23rd, the Friday. However, it's going to be a full moon in full moon that's void. Good morning, Beatrice. From I believe it's like 3 p.m. to like 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So technically, yeah, the full moon enters in inner space on Friday, but there's going to be a void. And so if you're doing any magical workings, it's best to one, look at your time zone, and if there's ever a void of a moon, that just means that the energies aren't necessarily at its highest peak or potency, right? So if we're working with the energies of the moon and the spirits, it's best to kind of like just be mindful and aware of that. That's why I've been saying the full moon without anything in the void, right, is going to be on Saturday, at least from how I'm taking it. And so this morning we are here joining together for our weekly morning ritual ceremony to practice to set out for the day, the week, the intention that we are holding space for our highest selves to step forth, and so that as we shine brightly as a collective, again, others, what we do internally, what we do for ourselves within, vibrates and resonates out in the external. And so we really are able to leave a ripple effect. And here I wanted to start off today's week with an energy reading that came forth, messages for as I was prepping, and even the message I now start to understand begins to change. And so we know that the full moon in Aquarius is starting the 23rd without void on the 24th. And this moon is all about, as I stated at the beginning of the lunation cycle of the month, it's this energy, this theme of it's time to do things a new way. This is a energy that's helpful in breaking out of old boundaries, old paradigms, old bonds, and it's really also a time, in order to do so, to step back, to reflect, to study, to practice, to put into action this new way that honestly you probably already have been receiving intuitive messages to try out. And so with this energy really helping us to usher in change and progress in our lives, because that's what Aquarius is. It's about doing things a new way. There's something to be aware and mindful of, and that I felt that it was a good way to start today's ritual is a couple things to ask yourself for the week as it comes up, and even after the full moon, the 2 weeks following the full moon and right before we hit into new moon in Leo, which is August 8th, with expansion and new things coming forth. Have you been way too much relying on the logical mind and worrying about every single detail that's been coming forth in regards to this said change or endeavor that you are walking towards? And if you have, this is where we always have to bring things into balance. Yes, Aquarius is very like logical and about like the thinking ahead, about jumping from A to Z, but we also, and trying to figure out the steps in between. But in order to have balance in our lives and seek that balance, we want to also step into the area of our heart and our intuition, our inner guidance, and allow our heart to speak forth, because sometimes, even when we come into a space, when we're ready to meditate um, and seek meaning, right, or answers, solutions, guidance, we're trying to seek the answers from a logical perspective and reasoning. And when that happens, you make no room, no space for the heart to speak to you, right? And this is good for you to, just for everyone, even I go through this, to really bring into our awareness, because sometimes when you are, sometimes it's not enough just to sift and sort out the pros and the cons. The mind construct will continue to make the list, or want to continue to go back and double check its works, its facts, right? And so this is where you have to allow the heart to really speak to you what feels good for you. Other things to consider with this full moon, not only have I been relying way too much on my head rather than my heart, but have I also been, or, in the past couple weeks, trying to force things rather than allowing it to just flow easily. There's also that sort of energy in terms of, if it's not my way, then everyone else is wrong. We have to have allowance of space between both the external and the internal. And the reason we bring this up for a moment is because when we are creating change, one, the change occurs within you, right, in your internal world. But when you make that change, you, just by being a single living being, right, a spirit soul here, you make a ripple effect. And so even you, by making one simple little change in your life, will disrupt the system or the norm around you. So the next 2 weeks, that's something to be aware of, because this full moon is going to fall in the sign of the Leo season. And so that's the house of love and relationships, right? And so love and relationships in general, that term is not just like a romantic love, but that's relationships anywhere where you are being present, you are giving your energy, your time, and, your presence, with friends, a social in terms of like a job aspect, or even with you and yourself and whatever goals and endeavors you are sowing into. And so, you know, things might come up, obviously, with the full moon, wherever we are tending to release things. And that's something definitely just to be mindful of, because when you are making a change, it's sort of like when you think about your inner child, the ego aspect starts to have these triggers come up, because it doesn't want to let go of what it already has sought comfort. And comfort, not in the sense that it's going to promote growth, but comfort in the sense that it's become complacent. And this garden, if you were to look at it, imagine it in your mind, is no longer bearing. For example, you sow the seeds to have a watermelon grow forth, but the seeds aren't growing, in the sense that you plant them last year, so if they haven't grown, it's probably time to move on and to plant something new and to get out of that comfort zone. And so when you shift out of comfort and you're moving into growth, things are going to come up. And that's just something to be aware of for the next 2 weeks. And like I shared before, my messages tend to come in a little in advance. Again, this is great because you're going to already have that wisdom, at least the awareness to hit you at soul level. So maybe it'll come up for you, things will come up. And if they do, feel free to comment them down below. I'd love to, hold space and just, be able to see where the collective is. Anything else in terms of, ooh, okay, yes. So we talked about full moon Aquarius energy, what's going to be the theme for the next 2 weeks after this weekend, leading into the new moon, and the logical mind and aspect. And so because logical mind, so we can be aware of and not fall into so much of reasoning every single thing out. It's like when you think about meditation, mindfulness, being aware, and all it really means is that mindfulness is paying attention to something in a particular way on purpose in this present moment and without judgment. And when you think about that definition of what mindfulness is, it means that when I sit here, even just the act of sitting here, speaking to you, is my full awareness here. Not only my physical body, but my eyesight looking at you, right? Not only my hearing at the physical level and what sounds I'm picking up, how I feel, sense of touch, sense of smell, but also where is my mind? Is it here fully in terms of being willing, open to receive and share a message for you? Or is it somewhere else? Or is it being on thoughts of fear and anxiety, right? And so that's an example. But if you were to say, I'm out walking along on my way to the store, to work, and I see a flower outside, am I fully paying attention to this flower with all of the senses of me? Or is my mind wandering and going into the logical aspect of other things and not being fully present with this something? And again, this is a powerful tool. This is why we're going to practice this, and we do this every week on Monday in the morning, because it helps set that foundation where, the ego might present wandering thoughts of attachment to something else as your change is coming up for you. And it just gives you that powerful tool to say that I can let go of expectations and allow myself to flow into the rhythm of the, where the energy is carrying me. And so as we begin, just finding your comfortable spot, which is something I probably should cue in the beginning of all this. By now you have your comfortable spot. If you have any incense or any essential oils, today I am burning dragon's blood, which is purity and protection. And my intention is that this energy goes forth for everyone who watches this live or recording, and that you have something to realize that, as a collective, our intentions are not just for ourselves, but for each other. And I invite you just to begin to close your eyes and begin to tune in with your breath. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through the mouth. Allowing your shoulders to relax and draw away from the ears. And as you continue to breathe, as I guide you into this morning ritual, just allow your awareness, the sense of hearing, to fall on the breath. Breathing in as you inhale. And exhale, breathe out through the mouth and hear your breath. Not feeling ashamed. Letting go of any insecurities, any fears, anything that was carried from the day before, last week. Breathing in and allowing the awareness to pick up on the rising of the belly, Maybe placing the right hand over your core and the left palm on top of the knee, facing up to the sky, and exhaling out. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out. And grounding ourselves as you continue to breathe. On the next inhale, feel the breath coming up to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, envision the breath coming down the spine, back of the head, the shoulders drawing down and back from the ears, down your hips, down your sit bones, returning to the earth. And take a moment to squeeze your sit bones that are connected to the floor or to your cushion, your chair, and breathing in and breathing out. When the breath returns to the crown of the head, allow a white light to begin to emanate from the crown. At the top of your head, it begins to blossom out of the crown of the head like a beautiful crystalline white lotus flower. And allow that flower to just hover about 2 to 3, 4 feet over your head, above you, right directly from the crown. And envision that flower beginning to spin counterclockwise. And as it spins, using your breath, your visualization, your third eye, power of imagination, exhale and envision beautiful streaming shooting stars, lights emanating from the crystalline flower all around you, encapsulating you in a beautiful cosmic veil, a shell, an egg, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and all underneath you. And just breathe in. And take a moment to feel the warmth of the light rushing, pouring over you. Maybe placing, if you're female, the left palm in between the lap and the right palm to sit on top with the thumbs kissing. If you're a male watching this, a masculine, it's right under left and thumbs kiss. And breathing in and breathing out. For the masculine watching, envision a beautiful cord begin to unravel from your sit bones down to the earth. And envision it finding the core of the Divine Mother, the planet. And for the feminine, envision that cord begin to emanate from about 2 inches below the sacral, below the navel, where the sacral chakra is. And perhaps envision that cord to be an orange glowing light. And for the male, you can envision that to be a red, dark red, reddish brown light. And for both parties, allow that cord to settle in. When you see it in your mind, a core of the earth, just begin to tug up, pull up from the pelvic floor, the sit bones. Your navel just pulls into your spine, and that's just a tugging sensation that you've anchored into the core of the earth. And as you continue to breathe, you're relaxing, you're allowing your body to just be fully present here. physically. Pick up the nearest scent, or allow your imagination to go there in terms of what does a scent of a beautiful burning hearth, a fire, smell like? Or you envision when you're barbecuing, that scent comes up. And that's the scent that we're looking for. So you have these beautiful anchor points at all different levels of the physical sensations, as well as tapping into using your cosmic imagination into the etheric realm, your energetic body with your cosmic imagination, your third eye, and your breath that connects both. And allow the breath to return to the crown of the head where that lotus flower is. And after you anchor to the Mother Earth and you're shining within your cosmic Veon shell, envision a blue auric light begin to emanate all around, surrounding the first layer. And that beautiful blue light is a blue light of certainty and clarity, and for you to move out in your confidence and your truth, your morals, your values. And just allow yourself to focus on the breath if your mind wanders. You're simply setting in the intention through will, through action, through belief, and visualization of your imagination to be present here. Taking a moment to ask your spirit guides to step forth, any angels, anyone, any beautiful divine beings that you work with, or one that is coming up to your mind now, to lead us, to help us to see with clarity through our heart space. Drawing the right hand to your heart, the sternum, and just begin to tap that. And envision a green light pulsing in and out at the heart. That way we may be guided this week with balance between the logical mind and the heart space. And breathing in and breathing out. That as this week comes forth and things arise in the next 2 weeks, that you remind yourself that as you express yourself with love, the universe meets your needs. That as you express yourself with love and follow your inner guidance, your heart space, bringing more balance between the physical ways and more balance in the etheric and your spiritual self, body. That which is calling you, your passions, your hearts guide you. You have the courage to move forward and follow after your desires, those things that light you up. The energy of this week, we have the Sagittarius moons, followed by Capricorn, and then the Aquarius moon in the weekend. In these first couple of days, the fire energy is leading us. And so may we have proper control and balance and direction of that energy, creation and passion, and balance that out and learn how to express ourselves in harmony with the external world as we begin to emanate and vibrate differently. And then envision a beautiful purple auric flame from underneath, beginning to surround the first 2 layers all the way to the top. And this beautiful indigo flame of divine rays, the angelic light, helps to clear out the space, the field from any low vibrational energies. And breathing in and breathing out. This is called a lion's breath. Breathe in. And then on the exhale, open up the mouth and breathe out. Sticking out the tongue. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Allow yourself to just relax, to sit in this space for the next couple of minutes, as long as you want. To feel the warmth, to feel the fire leading you for the beginning of the week, all the way down until we meet through the next couple signs, which lead us to the full moon in Aquarius on 23rd and 24th, this weekend. And just remember to, this is all about allowing yourself to break out of old habits, old bonds, old boundaries. And the highest aim is to do so in the way that is supportive of you and your foundation, your morals, your values, your own essence and soul's truth. And I'd invite you to tune in and allow yourself to just journal for a couple of moments. And as I close out this space, this veil, cosmic light, grounding you for the week, giving you clarity and insight. And the palms are together, bowing down to yourself. Take a deep breath in. Thumbs to your third eye as you bow down. And exhale, the hands return down to your heart space. And breathing in and breathing out. And may you go out and try out new things that will help you break free out of old habits, old paradigms, and have fun while you're doing it. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any comments, any questions that come up, feel free to comment them down below. I am offering new moon into the new moon in Leo in August offerings, sessions based off of donations. So if you're looking for clarity, you're looking for guidance from spirit, and you're wanting to either have an experience to meet with your own spirit guide, a teacher that perhaps wants to work with you, and you're inviting and you're wanting to receive that help and clarity and guidance. Or if you're looking for a space where you're able to clear out any mental or energetic obstacles, feel free to send me a message to set something up, and those sessions are based on donation. And feel free to watch the recording here about the full moon in Aquarius happening this weekend. And thank you so much for entering the space and joining in, and may this message bless you. And thank you so much. Satnam.